Super Bowl champion, Heisman Trophy winner. I would almost call him the face of college football, at least at one point. Is that too much? Working with Modelo, Desmond Howard, good to see you.
Hey, good to be seen. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So I want to start with you personally because I'm looking at your Instagram and I'm seeing hashtag 21 at 50.
Yeah.
And I'm under, I hate to do this to myself, but I'm that's my next stop here. I got 11 months till I get there, but that's my next stop. So I'm feeling like I'm 16. I don't know if it's about that, but what is this hashtag 21 at 50 for you?
Oh yeah, it's about feeling younger and redefining your prime. That's what it's about, and I'm all about that. Yes, sir. So I'm your guy. Let's redefine our prime. Let's feel younger. You have a friend say, "Man, you're getting old." I'm like, no. Well, that's not. We're getting older. I say, getting old is a mindset. Getting older is inevitable. Everybody's getting older. If you got like a baby that's 11 months old, guess what? That baby's getting older. and getting older always beats the alternative.
Exactly. And let's get some mindset and let's get some flexibility.
That's right. Exactly.
And we can still do the same things we do. We just got to put a little more time into it to be able to do it. I mean, you could still get in the end zone today, could you not?
It would just take me a little longer, but yeah, I can still get in there. Yes, absolutely, 100%.
That's what I'm talking about. For all you recreational athletes out there, I know this is resonating, especially those of us who are about to touch 50. All right, here we're talking college football today, and I'm going to touch a little bit on the NFL. But the biggest thing that's on my mind, I grew up in Chicago, going to Big Ten games at what's now Ryan Field, rooting for Northwestern. I went to college at the University of Iowa. I remember I've rivaled Michigan and Ohio State my entire life. I hated when you got in the end zone and did the Heisman. I'm like, it's under my skin how good Michigan is. But I love the rivalries. It's the whole point of doing this.
Yeah.
We're in Maryland was one thing and Rutgers was another. I hated that. Now we're going UCLA and USC. How do you feel about it? And we've seen the TV contract landing, so the money obviously is huge. I get why they're doing it, but whatever purity is left in you, what's your reaction to what's going on with the Big Ten?
Wow. Well, there's a lot to unpack there because it's bigger than the Big Ten. It always has been bigger than the Big Ten, and it's just college football. And most people lived with this fantasy of this amateurism for far too long. And now the cat's coming out of the bag. And I've been like, Mark, you would not find a stronger advocate for players getting compensated for their name, image, and likeness than me. When Reggie Bush was at USC and had the trouble that he had, I spoke out on behalf of Reggie Bush. I said USC owes Reggie Bush money. And I said that on ESPN News. People thought, that it made zero sense. Like, what are you talking about, Desmond? I said, it's really simple. It's really easy. Like, how many of those number 5 jerseys did they sell before this young man wore it? Okay, now since Reggie Bush has been wearing it, how many more number 5 jerseys have they sold? I said, it's simple arithmetic, but at the end of the day, there's no way you can tell me that young man did not add value to that jersey. And if he did, he should be compensated appropriately. And so now all of a sudden, people finally figured out it took Ed O'Bannon and that whole case with EA Sports to realize, people were abusing these student athletes, football players and basketball players, the revenue generating sports, abusing their name, image, and likeness and not giving them a single cent. And so, the landscape is greatly changing and everyone's chasing the money now. There's coaches chasing the money, and now we see schools chasing the money. So, that whole amateurism fantasy that we used to live under is starting to get pushed out the door, and the reality of what it is starting to be revealed.
So that whole answer, and I get it, is based in reality, and this is where we've been headed for a long time. But just the player in you, taking away the business. UCLA, USC in the Big Ten. Does it bother you?
It's odd. It's strange just because, I grew up watching the Pac-10 against the Big Ten. That's the Pac-12, so it's strange. It takes a minute to get adjusted to, but like I understand because, I guess for a long time I realized, this is a big multi-billion-dollar business. I didn't think that. I mean, that one came out of nowhere. I mean, as much flack as Kevin Warren received, which was unjust because he didn't make the decisions. The presidents and chancellors of the Big Ten universities, they made the decision not to play in 2020. He's just a commissioner, letting you know what those guys made. But without that being said, now for him to pull that off, Mark, was incredible because no one heard anything about it. I mean, his group is tight. Like, that's a tight group. No leaks. Like, the only time you heard about it was when it was stamped and approved. It's a done deal. This is what's going to happen. It's not like, hey, rumors out of the West Coast is that USC may have an interest in going to the Pac-10. I mean, the Big Ten. And if they go to the Big Ten and UCLA may follow. That wasn't the situation, Mark. It was like, yeah, this is what's going to happen. And, live with it.
Yeah. I mean, Jim Delaney was ahead of his time with the Big Ten. But people were like, can Kevin Warren top this? And I don't know if it's topping it, but it's right there.
It is.
I mean, the school's got to be looking around like, how much money am I going to be getting each year now? Right. 80, what is it, million a year? That's insane.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you. Right. Like I said, so you had coaches chasing money, and now you got conferences chasing money. I mean, you got teams chasing money going to different conferences. So that's where we are today.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on from, but I just got one more thing because I'm thinking about your career. And you were leaving Michigan right as the Fab Five's coming in. That's a super interesting time in Ann Arbor history. And as far as jerseys being sold, 21, 4, I mean,
5.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
For the record, same thing. I hated that basketball team because they were just so damn good. But that might be the most interesting team in the history of college basketball. They're right there. For the long shorts, the Black Sox, all of it. Thinking back to what you were when you're watching as a Michigan guy, this happening on the basketball court, football, school, the whole thing. I mean, what were your thoughts about the Fab Five in that era?
I was like blown away by it, because you was never seen that type of, situation happening in college basketball before. We talk about 5 like legitimate freshmen who came in and changed the whole culture of college basketball. I mean, it was unheard of. And, the way they did it, I was there the first year, and, don't forget now, that's coming off of the heels of a basketball team that won the national championship with Glenn Robinson and Lloyd Ball and those dudes. You know what I mean? So don't forget that Michigan just won that championship in basketball, I don't know, maybe 2 years prior or whatever. And now these freshmen, they come in here and they bring in like a totally different attitude. I don't think it was like common to say swag back then, but they brought like this very unique and different swag. And not only that, it wasn't like symbolism without substance. Like, they could ball, like they were like legit. So they had substance behind all this symbolism. Whereas, a lot of players and teams don't. So it was an amazing time to be in Ann Arbor, to watch that transformation, not just from the Michigan basketball program, but the whole landscape of college basketball in general, because everybody wanted to mimic what they saw the Fab Five doing. Yeah.
It was unbelievable. All right, let's jump a little quickly to the NFL. I've been watching Hard Knocks, and we got a Michigan alum, Aidan Hutchinson, getting some time. And you played with his dad, Chris.
Yeah.
I don't know if you think this is the turning around of the Lions here, if that's too much, but there's got to be some connection going on here. Playing in Michigan as a Lion, you were with Chris for 3 years.
Yeah, I did. And one thing, Chris definitely couldn't sing like Aidan. Aidan has rhythm. Chris had no rhythm. I don't know. Aidan must got that from his mama. But yeah, it's good. It's good to see. I think that Coach Campbell, you watch Hard Knocks, you see what they're trying to accomplish. I think the number one thing is to get the players to buy in. That's what every coaching staff, that's what they want. They want to get the players to buy into whatever it is that they're selling. And they're selling toughness. They're selling relentless. They want them to be a relentless group. I like, so far, so good. I like what I see. I need to see more, from all phases, to be honest with you, because it's still just preseason. But so far, I like the way that the team is coming together. When I first saw the first episode, I said, man, like that performance by Aidan, like it does a lot. It goes a long way in just bringing the team together, because you saw the whole team in the meeting room, like singing together and dancing together, And so when you're dealing with the dog days of training camp, like that type of moment, it lifts up the spirit of the team and it brings them together as a group too. So I really liked that part of it.
So you bought his Billie Jean. You thought he came correct.
I mean, when you cite the source, now, Mark, I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. Like I love Michael Jackson and Jackson 5. They're like, the best ever. Michael's the greatest entertainer to ever walk the face of the earth. It's not even a debate or a discussion. So just watching him, give his rendition of Billie Jean, coming off cold, you know what I'm saying? He just had to hop up there and do it. Probably, I thought that he did a good job. And that's a tough crowd too. That's a really tough audience that he had to do it in front of too. So when you start to add up all the factors involved,
all right, okay.
Kudos to Aidan, yeah.
Yeah, and underlined with the dad lineage and the non-talent being passed on.
Exactly.
There's a lot right there. So you believe a guy like Dan Campbell can work in the NFL? That level of rah-rah, let's put it like that.
I'm hoping that he can. I'm really hoping that he can. The coaches that I've been fortunate to play under, they weren't that type of coach. But this is a new era, a new day. You got the players are completely different. So I'm hoping, for the sake of Detroit, because I think it's a great sports town, and I think that you have some long suffering Lions fans, so they deserve a winner, and I'm hoping that whatever he's bringing, that they buy into it and that it works.
Desmond Howard with Modelo. One more NFL question as we go into the twilight of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, and of course you won a Super Bowl with the Packers. Do you look at the Favre-Rodgers era in some way as a failure because they've only won 2 combined in 3 decades together, or do you look at it some way else, I guess?
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't look at it. I never looked at it as a failure. I never looked at it like that. And obviously, Rodgers is still playing. He's not done. Who knows what's going to happen with them? But I just, the analogy I always use is like how fortunate the franchise is to go from one first ballot Hall of Famer to another first ballot Hall of Famer at the quarterback position. Like that is so rare. And I think that because I love the Packers fans, I think that there's probably not a fan base more deserving of having, going from one first ballot Hall of Famer to another first ballot Hall of Famer at the quarterback position. So that's the way I look at it.
All right, let's wrap on some college football here. Michigan's got the best wide receiving core in the nation. Is that your belief?
I believe that they, from a depth standpoint and talent, that you may look at one team and say, okay, I'll take this team's top 3 over any other top 3 in the country. But I think if you go, like, we start talking about top 6, top 7, top 8, I think they have like the most talented 8 receivers 7 or 8 receivers in any receiving room in the country. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about where these guys will rotate and play throughout the year. I think they can go 6 or 7 deep with their rotation, where most teams might be able to go 4 or 5 deep, but when you get to 4 or 5, there's a huge drop off. When you look at Michigan, when you look at 5, 6, 7, I think all these guys can contribute to the offense in very productive yet unique ways. So when I made that comment, that's what I was saying. Like, you may look at somebody's top 3 and be like, oh man, this top 3 is the best. I'm like, okay, but how many more receivers they got in that meeting room? Okay, is it only 3 in that room, or they have 8 in that room? So that's what I was talking about.
Do you like the college football playoff as it is right now, Desmond, as we wrap up here?
The college football playoff, I believe that they probably need to expand, and there was a plan to expand, but that was blown up when Texas and Oklahoma decided to bolt from the Big 12 and join the SEC. So that threw everything out of whack, because now it's like, okay, there's going to be a realignment. So this whole expansion that they were working on for 2 years, this covert activity, they had to just burn it and start all over from scratch. But I do believe they're going to have to extend the college football playoff numbers. So
outside of the deliciousness of a Modelo, why'd you want to work with Modelo today along with college football?
Yeah, because, like a year ago, Modelo helped me to celebrate the 30th anniversary of my punt return against Ohio State. And as a Big Ten guy, I'm sure you can appreciate that. And so the partnership went so well that we decided to run it back. And what's really attractive to me about Modelo, besides what you mentioned, was the fact that they like to celebrate the fighting spirit of the fans. Like it's college game day, we talk about the fighting spirit of the players, right? The teams, but the fighting spirit of the fans is what fuels those players. It fuels college game day. So I love the fact that they want to give like the fans their recognition. So now there's a competition, a contest, was the full-time fan contest. So the Modelo full-time fan contest, and that fan who wins, he or she will receive a 6-figure salary prize, and also a ticket to the national championship game, which is going to be in LA. And I'll be there. We'll get a chance to hang out, maybe look at the game day set and have a little fun. So the fact that they celebrate the fans, it resonates with me, because I know that, whether as a player or even as an analyst on college game day, I really recognize the importance of the fans and what they bring to both.
Which fans got under your skin the most when you were playing?
When I was playing, man, you know what? I mean, when I'm playing, I'm in such a zone that you just tune them dudes out. Like, they may say some stuff when you're coming through a tunnel or whatever, and you hear that. But then once the ball is snapped, man, my focus on those 11 guys out there who's trying to prevent me from reaching this goal, which is the touchdown.
I like it. Noise is noise. I'm in my zone.
Exactly.
Desmond, always good to talk to you. Appreciate it. And congrats on all your success. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, Mark. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, man. Have a great one. I appreciate you.
Our pleasure.